Good day, people. This is JD again. I'm going to ask you some serious questions about qualifications for President of the United States of America. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mention some senators and congressmen in the name, but maybe even President Obama, and compare them to my qualifications, what I have. First, let's deal with political. Do you want someone who's very political, who can lie to you and turn around and go do just the opposite and not have a conscience about it? Do you want someone who can ignore your feelings, ignore what you need after you vote for them, and totally go for some other thing that of no concern to you? Or do you want someone who cares about you? I mean, if you want someone political that can lie and stuff, turn around and do other things and not have a good thing, I'm sorry, I'm out of there. I can't do that. Really, it bothers me if I lie to somebody and then go do the opposite. That's the reason why I come up with the phrase, ask me no questions, tell me no lies. Because if I can't tell you the truth, I don't want to lie to you. I'd rather that you know I'm not going to tell you the truth than for me to tell you some old-faced lie. Now, I have a policy, and I do tend, people know me, talk a lot, do a lot of talking, and it gets people think they know me. Unless they get close to me. Then when they get close to me, they realize that my talking is a front. Because what I'm thinking and what I'm doing, it's covered up by the talking. So, I may talk a lot. For example, we talked about war. I've finally seen Obama do some things in the last couple of days that people should do if you're going to fight against an enemy. One, when ISIS had that training camp, they took over a village and used it for a training camp. They didn't just try to hit, they destroyed everything in it from one end to the other, completely killing everybody in there. Yes, there may have been some collateral damage, might have been some families in there, may have been some children. But that's war. Let people know you're serious when you're going to deal with war. Don't play games. And I don't play games, and I definitely cheat. Him going after that group in Syria who thought they had safe haven, suddenly, boom, they're gone. You know, that's the way I would do things. The difference between Obama and me is I wouldn't be saying no boots on the ground. Because you see, in a war, you have no control. I'd be saying a lot of rhetoric all over the place, but never saying a single word about what I'm doing. That might be called political, or may not be, I don't know. But that's the way I play the game. I cheat. Give me a chance to cheat at something, and I love to cheat. Now, what kind of experience do you really want for a president? Now, do you want someone who was a governor, or do you want someone who was in Congress that plays the political games, who deals with everything but you? Or do you want someone who knows what it was like in a hot summer day, temperature on the roof is over 100 degrees, and they have to walk around very carefully as they put the roof on so that the shingles don't smear and wipe the granules off, creating bare spots? Who knows how to put a roof on? Who knows the experience of putting a roof on? Do you want someone who's always came from a well-to-do family who's never had to work for somebody, a company that you're not a union, there's no union, and the company totally takes advantage of the employees who experience that? Or do you want someone who's relatively rich and really never really had to worry about his job because daddy or the company had it for him? Do you want someone who knows what it's like to be hungry, never eaten, gone several days in a row without eating anything, known what it's like as a child to go through garbage cans looking for food, when gone in school with his school clothes, dared not get them dirty or torn because his mother would beat the crap out of him? Or do you want someone who would get a different pair of clothes for every hour they lived? Don't know what it's like to have two outfits that's gonna last a whole week for school. That's washed every day. And most of the time, sometimes maybe even wash my hand. Do you want someone who's never been hungry a day in their life? Or one who knows what it's like? Do you want someone who's never worried about the bills they ever had to pay, didn't even care about the bills they have to pay? Or someone who struggled trying to pay his bills, living on credit, and struggling to feed his family? Do you want someone who knows what you experience? Or someone who cares more about the jet set in other countries and what they're doing? Do you want someone who's never been on a military deployment, who can sit there as commander-in-chief and tell the military to go anywhere in the world they wish? Or do you want someone to know that the agony of that deployment to the family, what it does to the wife, what it does to the husband, what it does to the children? Do you want someone who says, I can write these letters, I don't want to, but I can write these letters? Or someone who's experienced people who have actually died on deployments and know what they go through when writing that letter to their parents or the wife? I've watched people die on military deployments. It's funny how you can tell the ones who are married and the ones who aren't, because the ones who are married, almost every one of them says, tell my wife I love her. That's usually the last thing they say. The ones who are not married, they say something like, Mom. They call out their mother. They usually don't call out their dad, but they usually call out their mother. But that's because I always dealt with men. At the time when I was in the military, women were not really a lot in the military. So, do you want a president who has nothing but political experience and the experience of the well-to-do or decent-to-do? Or do you want someone who has the experience of struggling, what it's like? Do you want someone who knows what you feel, to stand up and say, I'm there for you? Do you want someone who says, we really don't have poverty in the United States? Or do you want someone who says, there is real poverty in the United States? We have just as bad poverty in the United States as the rest of the world, and you don't have to look far to see it. Do you want someone who says, the American children don't really go hungry? Or someone who says, before we feed someone outside this nation, make sure that every child is properly fed? Do we want someone who says Obamacare, insurance, or someone who says, with a nation as rich as ours, why don't we have true medical for everyone? Well, that's the difference between my experience and, let's say, for example, Rand Paul or Ted Cruz. I will say McCain too. Now McCain's got one over on me because he was a prisoner of war. I never was. Letting other people control your life. That's what a prisoner of war is. Because you only live as long as they allow you to live. So, bottom line is, what qualifications does the man who's supposed to be the leader of this nation, of the people, should have? Remember, I said, as president, you will come first. You will always be first. But how could I help you if I have not myself experienced some of the things you've experienced? How could I help you feed your children unless I'd known what it was like to be hungry as a child? How can I help you save your home, pay your bills, feed your family, ensure that your family is well kept, if I had not struggled through the very things you are struggling through? How can I not turn around and say, World Bank, I really don't care what you say about the world economy, as long as the American people can buy a decent loaf of bread for a decent amount of money. How can I not say a fair day's pay for a fair day's work unless I felt that I had not received a fair day's pay? How can I not know the fallacy of raising minimum wage unless I personally seen it myself? How minimum wage raises bring other people below the poverty line. How can I not know we need unions in this country unless I worked for a non-union organization and was completely taken advantage of by that organization? How can I not know your struggle looking for a job unless I myself right now am not looking also for a job? These are the things I know. These are the qualifications I'm bringing, besides many years of experience in many different fields of endeavor. Fears of not being able to succeed. Fears of the father or mother not being able to provide for the family. Fears of what's going to happen tomorrow. What's going to be for your children in the future. I look at Samantha, who's 12 years old. What future does she have? If she doesn't at least get some college. The struggling of the education system. Why do we have so many people in positions that do not teach, that get paid so much? These are questions that need to be answered, that need to be fixed, and need to be corrected. When we have principals, vice principals upon vice principals upon vice principals in the school, why is there money being wasted at so many vice principals and not enough on the teachers? I can't tell you how to set up your community. I can't tell you how to set up your towns. I can't tell you how to set up your cities. I can't tell you how to elect your mayors, your chief of police, etc. But I can tell you, as president, I can be an example and be there for you. For that's what I'm going to be about. You, the American people. Not the people in Japan, not the people in China, not the people in Russia, not the people in Africa, not the people in South America, Europe, Asia, Australia. Go through all 7 continents. There's not too many people in Antarctica. But the people in the United States and its territories. That's the people I'm going to be there for. And I will be there for you. When you tell me you're having this fear you feel about your police force, I can tell you I know what that fear is like, because when a policeman now comes up to me, even for something, I get afraid. Didn't used to be like that years ago, but now I'm afraid. Now when police officers think they can do whatever they want, when they want, and don't really give the darn about anything. I'll give you a minor example. Parking lot over the flea market where I got a shot. A police officer in a great big truck parked in the parking lot, and it was parked at all the parking spaces are at angles because it's a one-way driving up to the spaces. Well, he's got this great big truck. I start coming down the aisle the proper way with the arrows, and he cuts out in front of me, and that's fine. I left him enough to back out so he could drive. No, he wants to go in the other direction. He's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm sitting there watching him till he's going against the flow of traffic. And I'm sitting there, and he yells at me, "I can sit here all day." So I get out there, and I go up this window, and I say, "There's an arrow pointing this way." We argued a while, and then he brings out his badge. "I'm a police officer." So that gives you the right to do whatever you want. On the contrary, when you hold that police officer badge, you are restricted by the people to follow the law to the utmost. You are there to help the people and maintain law and order, not to go around shooting people, stunning people, beating people, and doing whatever you want. That's not your job. Just like this is what I personally feel in Ferguson. If what is said is true, now notice I said if what is said is true, the individual was kneeling down with his hands raised, and then the police officer opened fire, that police officer should be standing trial for murder. No ands, no ifs, no buts. Nobody is above the law. That was an ill-equipped, ill-prepared, poorly trained individual. I don't give a doggone how long he was on. And if he was well-trained at the beginning and he has become what it appears he's become, then there is a problem. Because like me, the police officer is a servant to the public. And when I become president, I'm going to be a servant to you, the people, not a political party. I can't stand for political parties. A lady did a thing about religion and about certain groups, Muslims who come over here to try to force people to be Muslims or kill them. No, that don't come in this country. And I did tell her that I would have a very strong respect for anybody of any religion that would kneel down on the sidewalk and pray to our God. Whether they're Muslim, whether they're Christian, whether they're Buddha, whether they're Hebrew, Jewish, whether they're whatever their religion is, Hindu, but I would respect them. But let them try to force another person to kneel down with them, I would get in the way and put a stop to it. It is not to happen in this country. We can freely practice and he can freely explain. But unless the person freely wishes, no one has the right to force anyone to any beliefs, whatever they are and however they feel. No one in this country can force another belief of any kind, whether it's religious, sexual, or anything, onto any other person whatsoever. And I would stand in the way with that. I believe we all are equal. We have freedoms to practice our beliefs, but we do not have a freedom to force them onto other people. You have crossed over. Now, if your religion says you are the fourth, then you can't do that in this country. You cannot force any belief onto anybody within this country. I don't care what you are or who you are. But I will respect a man or woman who is brave enough to kneel down and pray to their God in public. But I will not allow anyone to force their beliefs onto anyone else. I don't care if let's say a Muslim is kneel down praying and some Christian tries to force no, you're not going to do that. Just like the other way, if the Muslims trying to drag a Christian down and make him, no, it doesn't go. You may discuss it freely, and you two may decide which way you choose freely. That's the secret, freely. Never will it be forced. And that I will defend. I will defend you, the individual. I'm all about you, the individual. My qualifications, I've been in the military, I've been around the world, I've seen the politics of the world. I'm not with the jet set. Though I have a chance, but I turned away. I'm not with the political. Though I had some experience, but then again, I walked away. I'm with you, the American people. I'm with our Constitution. I truly believe in our Constitution as it is written, and only as it is written, not to be interpreted by somebody else. Though I will use the elastic clause. You know the elastic clause, the one that says, well, if the military says you have to have a minimum education level, then it's up to the federal government to provide that minimum education level. See? Providing for the common defense. Just like we build highways. But it's to serve the people, never to take something from the people. We have one amendment that says when you're born, you're an American citizen. And we have another amendment that says you have a right to bear arms. Both will be defended to the utmost. That newborn child's rights and privileges and promises will be protected as much as that man with that rifle, that woman with that gun. Those rights must be protected. Those privileges and promises that our Constitution makes to you will be. So here's what it comes down. Do you want a politician who knows politics, or do you want an American citizen who knows life to be your president? I learned responsibility of leadership a long time ago. Actually, when I first was in the Navy, I just made third class, got that crow on my arm. Went out there to do a job, came back, told my supervisor this was wrong, this needed to be pulled. He said she's going to pull it, and so we'll go out and pull it. Am I positive? I said yes. He said, will you put your crow on it? I said, you made a decision. are you going to take the responsibility of that decision, put your crow on it? If you're wrong, you lose your crow. If you're right, you did a good job. Well, I was right. But I said, yes, I will. He says, that's the responsibility of your decision. That's your first lesson in leadership in the military. When you make, as a leader, a decision, you accept the responsibility for your decision. That's one thing Obama had not learned. With leadership comes responsibility. That's why when he became president, it was Bush this, Bush that, Bush this. He was slugging off the responsibility. As president, it will be JD. This is the problem. We will fix it. Don't you tell me who caused it. I don't give a doggone. We will fix it because it is now my responsibility. That's something I learned a long time ago about leadership. Now, someone was worried about Congress with the political parties. I truly feel that most congressmen, if given true leadership, will break away from the shackles of the political party lobbyists. You're going to have some hardcore political party fighters. They're going to fight with tooth and nail because they're going to lose all their power. But with the proper leadership, I believe most congressmen will break away and serve you, the people, and not the political parties as they are doing now. Because you're the only ones that matter according to our Constitution. Our government is set up and designed to operate through you, the people, via your voting ability to serve you, the people. And that's what it's all about. So, am I electable? Yes. Do I have the experience to be president? Probably more so than the last several. But that's going to be your choice, not mine. So with that, I'm going to end by saying, remember JD. Yes, he has the experience. And yes, he's electable. But only through you, the people, and no others. Oh, by the way, I will not join any political party whatsoever. But I will accept the endorsement of any political party that wishes to endorse us, me, and you, the people. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD.